Why does it feel good to be bad? It's an interesting question. We're often addicted to our negative or dense, unhealthy behaviors, but why? Two core reasons. One, they are familiar, and anything that is familiar feels safe. Number two is that it feels good. And it feels good, in other words, physiologically, it feels good. We have dopamine hits. One, connected to the familiarity, but two, because it reinforces our sense of self. So our ego self is happy. Again, back to safety. It feels safe. It feels safe because we are in familiar patterns of behavior. Somewhere along the line, during our formative years, during our developmental years, we've created patterns of how to cope and deal with stress, anxiety, challenge, difficulty, etc. And these coping strategies are actually what we're really addicted to, not the behaviors themselves. It's the alleviation of the behavior because that feels so good. It's familiar and it reinforces a sense of self. That means we know who we are in the world. That means we're not doubting who we are. We're not confused. We would rather be clear with someone that we don't like per se, or an aspect of self, as opposed to feeling super confused. Now, how do we move through this? How do we alleviate this? Safety is the key. We have to create an environment, people, relationships that feel safe. We need to seek help so that we can gain new perspective into old behaviors that don't serve us. We can't see the forest through the trees. This is the major issue. So it feels good to be bad, in other words, unhealthy, unsustainable behavior, because it's familiar and it reinforces a sense of self. The ego says, see, I told you this is who we are, and knowing who you are feels better than not knowing who you are. Feeling confused and scared when you're in the unfamiliar and in the unknown doesn't feel good. But that's where we need to go. That's where we need to be in order to break free of patterns and numbing and distractions such as alcoholism, drug use, pornography, excessive masturbation, whatever it may be, to break free of these habits that don't serve us anymore. And so the opportunity comes in, can you help yourself feel safer than you've ever felt before, to break the familiar patterns that aren't serving you anymore, so that your version of self that you're living every day aligns with the vision of self that you have for you. Power and blessings. I'll see you soon.